One day I'll fix that. But not today. Let's do number 15. After failing to keep a positive attitude, Mario is sent to negative school, where he must abuse the laws of inertia and be higher in... Wasn't negative school a level in Jump? I want to say it was. Tubular hard mode. I am already unexcited by this prospect. Okay. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of sure Negative School was a level in Jump. One of them. This is cute, actually. I like this. So far. Might change my mind in a minute or two. No! That was close. Okay, definitely need to sit above the other Womp and wait a cycle or two. Trying to make a rightward scroll. Wait. Are there any rightward auto-scrollers in Mario World? I don't think I've ever seen that before. In vanilla, at least. I mean, I don't see any reason why it couldn't happen. So strange. So very, very strange. Okay. Yeah, I think that the Eries here is probably the hardest obstacle for me, because I don't like their periodic motion. And I'm gonna try and squeeze the P-balloons a little bit further. And perhaps I should. Alright, that's as much as I'm gonna get on that. Under, over, up. That's what I need to do, is go left and right there. Oh, hello, wimps. Oh, God. Okay. I see what to do there. That's a tricky level. Interesting setup. To look it up. It's gonna be bugging me if I don't actually remember what level Negative School was. Conveniently, there's a way to look up levels like that by going to Xandro's DB and just kind of looking for them. Well, I guess actually, because I think, does Jump Half... No, Jump Half use the extended level name ASM. I don't know if the if Jump does, but it might. That might make it tricky. But I guess if it was Jump Half, I might have played it on here while my system still works. Where my system works. So there's an option there. Give that a try. No! Well, on one hand, I avoided the particles. On the other hand, they were particles I wanted to hit. Alright. Ow. I think this level's gonna hurt my hand. Somewhat fascinating how many people have decided to make Tubular but harder. Explicitly by name, and sometimes. Because like Cooler Cruel, the demo I think was Tubular, but way harder because you have like 60 different bosses, including Fruit Dealer. And yeah, there's a bunch of other ones. All the named boos. There's a lot of them. Oh, man. That level's a trip. Definitely go watch a TAS of it if you've never seen it. That might have been too close. That somehow was not too close. Wait for the thwimps to go that way. Threading the needle I was not. I wonder how long this auto-scroller is actually. 500 seconds. So that thwomp obstacle is a minute into the level. Glad this one's in at the beginning at least. Oh no, I'm too low. Or too high, one or the other. Oink. Oh, I hope that was enough. Mario, sadly, is not full of hot air. At least not at this point in time. I wonder why the top one is slightly staggered off. There's some sort of mathematical principle going on there. I don't think I timed that right. But it's a frequent occurrence. Let's see, what else did I do? Saw the cosplay contest at Comic-Con. That was kind of nice. But I'm still not entirely certain what the effect category is, because the guy who was a working... there was a person who was a working centaur, where the back legs would sort of come along with the front legs, which was impressive rather than having, you know, a second person in the horse's ass. And they only got third place. Kind of expected something like that to do a lot better, but apparently I don't understand what the effects category is, whereas the other two categories, like the sewing and... Dang it. Armor categories I actually get, because armor is fairly obvious to understand, and the sewing category is won by whoever wants to make the most elaborate, ridiculous dress. Which, hey, more power to you. The woman who won that particular category had sewed a ridiculous, like, Victorian dress in the vague style of Belle's dress from Beauty and the Beast. And you know what? It looked good. It looked heavy, but, you know. Reason why she won. Apparently she used a lot of yards and yards and yards of fabric. Strange we would still measure fabric in yards instead of feet. I guess bolts is the other unit you can use. There we go. Because yeah, I kind of want to corner that. I need to proc that earlier. Somehow bet that once I actually get to the end, it'll be the actual end of the level, there won't be a midway. But hard to say. Definitely don't want to spend 2 hours on this one, though. Had enough 2-hour VLDC levels for the time being. I wish I could say I saw more at Comic-Con, but pretty much all I did was walk the artist alley for a bit, check out the show floor. Not usually one for, like, celebrity stuff, so I didn't spend too much time looking for signatures or nothing. pretty much all of the celebrities that I would like to meet in real life. I already have. By celebrities, I mean Tom 7. Oh, I should have stayed higher up. I have, in fact, met Tom 7 in real life, and that was kind of fun. Saw him do his NES talk. His most recent video, a Sigbovic submission, was kind of depressing, though. Some of it was interesting. Other parts, not so much. I'm bad at that. Parabola. I think I accidentally left-righted there. One of those weird things about Balloon is if you left-right, you move a little bit faster, which isn't always a good thing. Most well-known level in the Tubular's most well-known level in the original game. Level most people burn to their heads when playing vanilla next to the one with the shooters and flames. Yeah, that's fair. Assuming they didn't get filtered by Tubular. Like, I think Tubular is where difficulty peaks, without a doubt in my mind. Just because it's something you generally don't have to deal with. The P-Balloon thing is used in, what, like maybe 2 other levels? That was enough. It was enough, okay. Okay. Gotta come up with a better strat there. I mean, really what it comes down to is, like, it's usually, if you're gonna make a P-Balloon level, it's kind of a tribute to Tubular. In some way, shape, or form, just because every other P-Balloon section is very minuscule. Usually for a small bonus thing. Like the Vanilla Secret one, you get some 1-ups if you balloon correctly. And then in, was it Force of Illusion 1, you have the key you need to use the balloon to get to. But neither one of those requires particular mastery over this skill set. Not in the way that people have taken this and run with it. In hacks and whatnot. With, like, Super Fart World probably being the example. Okay, I made that, just barely, but I made it. Okay. Oh, that hurts. That's a new PB, though. But I was hoping no more Eries. That first Erie part was already hard enough, because I'm just not good at anticipating the motion of those sorts of things. Even though I know it's on a parabola, on a sine wave. It's not a hard thing to estimate, just I'm not good at it. Staring at the coral in the background at this point, because I don't need to pay that much attention to what I'm doing for the first, like, 50 seconds of this. Maro's hitbox is also really weird when he's a balloon. Yeah, I'm hosed. Wasn't moving down fast enough. Yeah. Kind of thinking there should be a we have SMW at home contest where everybody picks, or people are allowed to pick whatever level they want, It should be reminiscent, but not entirely the same as the level in question. It wouldn't surprise me if that's already been done as a gimmick. And of course there is SMW from memory, which exists and is kind of the same thing, but, you know, more exacting. Well, that was a new way to die. It was a fun hack. Chat hacked our way through that, and that was kind of weird. Turns out there's an entire door in Bowser's Castle I forgot is just like one of the sections of, what's that castle? The one I almost always skip, Castle 3. Or not Castle 3, which one's with the saws? Must be a fortress that I never go to that has the saws. Yeah, basically, I wouldn't even say it's entirely, like, from memory. Like, you're kind of, like, I mean, the exact line I want to use here, and I recognize this is relatively obscure, is, there's an episode of Dinner Impossible, a TV Food Network reality cooking show thing, where this guy has, you know, difficult challenges for cooking, and one of them was amusement park stuff. And one of the things that his group of people suggested was something that reminds you of pizza but isn't pizza. So sort of like, if the level is a slice of pizza, you're making a bagel bite. So not entirely from memory, but it should feel similar. But it should be pretty obvious that that's not what that is in the grand scheme of things. And what they ended up doing was making sort of pizzas on funnel cake, which not a normal conventional way to go about it, but you know, it's probably pretty tasty. As long as you don't make the funnel cake too sweet. And I don't think funnel cakes by their nature are terribly sweet, given that most people are going to douse them in powdered sugar to begin with. So there are like no grinders. Oh man, what am I thinking of? Now I just don't know. Maybe SMW from memory has gotten my memory tripped up. Which is completely reasonable. Alright, back to Erie's. Actually gotta focus here for a second. Come on. No more Erie's? Hooray, no more Erie's. Good! No more Erie's. Ow. Do I want that? I don't... Yo, no, now I don't want it. I think I'm better at avoiding pea balloons than I am at using them. We'll see how this goes. I'm really glad I took a second there to consider my options. Oh no, oh no, no. Oh god. Yeah, so making something in the same vein, similar style. Like, quite literally, if you put the level in front of someone, they should be able to make a decent... who's played a decent amount of SMW, they should be able to say, I'm pretty sure your level, the level you chose was, say, Vanilla... Donut Secret 2 or something. And I think that recognizability... I don't know if recognizability should be a part of the score rubric for that kind of thing. It'd be an option. As Mario gets his fat ass stuck in the wall. Invest in silver pea balloons, not in gold ones. This level sucks. This is just like Donut Plains 2. Because Donut Plains 2, I mean, Donut Plains 2 is a fine level. You know, it's got the cave theme. It's the first time you come across that. It's the first auto-scroller in the game. Yeah, I guess there's some arguments to be made there. Just get in the lava, would you? Should have the same energy as a leveled space run. Yeah, exactly. That's the concept. Don't know if it would actually ever get... Oh, come on. If it would ever happen, but you know, it'd be cool if it did. Ah, there we go. Let's try and do better. Okay, this, and then the balloons show up again. This level demands a certain amount of attention. Even the cape actually helps a whole lot. Well, alright, well at least we can see what's ahead now until we run into another wall. But I need the cape. Right. Lunar Plains 2 introduced you to level 2 stuff, which is interesting when playing it the first time. Yeah, I agree with that. Make a level reminiscent of Star World 3. Your level was so short, I didn't even notice it as started nor ended. Like, that is the shortest level in the game, I'm, like, pretty sure, by a far margin. It's, what, like, 2 screens wide? I mean, the gimmick there is you've got to learn about the Lakitu Cloud, which is vaguely important, or otherwise find some sort of way to elevate yourself. I was gonna say it was the first time you run into a secret exit, but it's not. It's the second time you run into a secret exit. A lot of Star World and Special World is interesting. I think a lot of the Special World is more interesting than Star World in terms of mechanics. Top secret area is shorter. I didn't know that had an exit. Must be very well hidden. Okay. Hide. Over. Don't get hit by the P-balloon. Silver Pea Switch, Yellow Yoshi, throw blocks. There's a lot of things in there. How you doing, Desi? Leads to the laser suit, of course. I played that level. You love me the laser suit. So, Desi, you might be excited to hear I have a new emote. I sat down and worked on that last night and got it working. Oh no. Oh, it worked. Oh, doing okay? I'm doing good. Had a bunch of family visiting recently, and they all left this week. It was nice having them here, but it's also nice not having them here. You know how it is with family visits. Yeah, you saw? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned. I'm relatively happy with how it turned out. I wish they'd let me have more frames, but what can you do? Oh, and what's up, Fedora? I was briefly terrified when Tails came onto the scene. Know very well how it is. Yep. But my only complaint about my emote is I can only got to use 59 frames, which just isn't as many as I wanted. Because I have 2 cycles going on there. There's the 16 cycle for the triangle, and the, bizarrely enough, 19 cycle for the Link tunic. It's really 18. It turns out there was a slight coding bug I made, but it doesn't actually matter in practice. I think having the 1 cycle where he's gray actually makes it a lot better. Or 1 frame where he's gray looks perfectly fine. But that's an error. We'll see if I end up repeating that error later when I do more of that stuff. I think it worked out fine. There we go. Oh, I'm host. Not even 60. I think there was an upper limit of 60, but the way I wrote it, I wanted it to line up on 19 at least. So I forget exactly the correct number. I think it's 54 frames I ended up using because I wanted to make sure that the 19 frame cycle lined up, even if I couldn't get the 16 frame cycle to line up. I'd need a lot more frames if I was going to have both line up, as it turns out. Something about lowest common denominators and things. Fractions. I ducked. Yeah, 60 frames is not enough. Makes you appreciate animated emotes. Way too restrictive. Yup. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, it's been a good weekend. Went to Comic-Con, the Seattle one for a bit. Bought something stupid that I always wanted to do with those sorts of things. Got a painting print that I've hung up, which is pleasant enough. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and put it somewhere. Okay, stand on this pixel. Shouldn't tempt fate, I should just let it go. At least give us 69. Is there a frame rate you set the emotes to when uploading? It's not that there's a specific frame rate, it's that there's a specific number of frames I'm allowed, period. I think with GIFs, there's a global frame rate, and then it just goes through the number of frames. I'm not exactly sure how the standard works. I spent a few minutes looking at the GIF 89 standard and came to the conclusion that it didn't do what I thought it did, which is mildly vexing. But GIF isn't old standard, so. After all, CompuServe came up with the GIF format, if you didn't know that. And CompuServe was a bit of a strange walled garden. It was the walled garden service we had when I was a kid. I thought AOL was way cooler just because AOL had way better marketing, honestly. Things like keywords, as opposed to the CompuServe forums. Though admittedly, you could do enough piracy on the CompuServe forums that it kind of made up for it. That's how I got a copy of Commander Keen 5, and okay. Yeah, I need to just go through... I just need to go through that. In my case, I had it change it at approximately a rate of 60 frames a second. GIFs don't deal with that. They deal in milliseconds and don't do fractional. So I have to look it up. But that's what I told PIL to do, was about 16 and change milliseconds per frame. Whether or not that's what I got, slightly different question. So, I got into a weird problem where it stopped being transparent sometimes, and I eventually figured out the problem was I wasn't declaring enough of my colors, or I had gotten RGBA's opacity mixed up. 0 is fully opaque, 255 is fully transparent. And I'd gotten it flipped in my head. Once I fixed that, it worked out. But yeah, I just grabbed the Link sprites straight out of the NES CHR ROM. It was pretty straightforward, all things considered. The most annoying part was actually finding documentation on how NES graphics work, which frankly are very similar to how SNES graphics work, though the number of bit planes is fewer. Oh, the entry's not blind? Oh, the entries were blind. So the judging finished, I want to say actually last month. And so I decided I would just put the names up on screen afterwards. So before judging finished, I just left it as Anonymous Cowherd. post judging, I went and updated it, my metadata my metadata file to have the creators' names in them. So, yep. I could have moved forward using the unobfuscated directory, but I kind of like just having the name on screen and I don't necessarily know it. In this case, I know it. I looked up what it was because, oh god, I don't know what it is about this obstacle. I keep thinking I need to wait, but I definitely don't think I do. Because I was screening for lengthy things, and I probably should have screened this harder because it's Heraga, and Heraga makes hard things. I've liked his work in the past, don't get me wrong. Don't know much about him personally, but he's made some cool levels. I liked the hack that he and his team made. He and the team he was on made for Hack Jam. I think that was SMW for Sickos. Or Super Sickos World, or whatever it was actually called. There we go. Jump past this. Yeah, just go is the answer there. Don't think. Just go. Now the next obstacle, though. Every time I see that that emote, I think it might be like a miniature blue meanie for some reason. But that might be because of the emote size I have set on my my chat client. It's been a while since I've watched The Yellow Submarine too. Probably should watch that again. It's a good movie. Okay, duck here. Okay, cool. We did it. I screwed up? No, I have not screwed up yet. Oh, I don't like the look of this. I'm willing to bet this was the last obstacle, too. And look, it was! It's a reference to the Simpsons episode. Oh, it's got the crayon, doesn't it? Or it's the old Criolla Oblongata. There we go. That took way too many tries. I think part of it was because of Moe's accent. I wanted to be Criolla, but that's not what it is. I will admit that I don't quote. I haven't watched that episode too many times, but I still think extended warranty. How could I lose? Is a fantastic quote out of that one. Okay. Oh, right. That worked. There's more slop in these setups than I'm expecting, isn't there? Okay. Now for this part. No! The old Simpson gene. I love how at the end of that episode it ends with the various Simpson men all doing the same thing Homer and Bart were doing at the beginning, where they were, you know, charging at each other while wearing pots on their heads. Which I just don't think is going to make a huge difference when you're going to hit someone else with your head. Am I not holding it down there? I don't think I was, no. I'll give that a shot, Max. My vague instinct here is that it's possible Heraga thought that a third section for this should be good, but... Yep. That strikes me as more of what I was expected to do, except now I'm a little behind. No! I'm very behind. Well... No. Yeah, I'll definitely duck jump on the note blocks. That'll make a difference. I think that might have gotten me through them on my first try when I was there. Or my first try of the note block obstacle, to be fair. But I haven't been stuck on this all that long, I don't think. I'd have to look at when I posted the hack on the chat. That'd be the easiest way for me to tell. I really should rework my old interface to work with the chat client and all that. It's one of those things that's on the list of projects, and it's just not what I've been excited enough to do recently. HTML work has taken a bit of a backseat to everything else, because everything else is more fun. That was not the time to duck. I saw some ducks today when I went and went to Bellevue to get some foods. Had to do some irritating errands today. Went to a bank. It's never a good day when you have to go to a bank. Usually means there's some irritating process you have to do, and in this case it was a very irritating process. Thankfully it worked, so I don't have to do the process more than once. And it didn't actually cost me anything, but it just cost me some amount of time and having to drive over there. Tails wants an Oompa Loompa and he wants one now. Taking this with me. I took out some of them. That was kind of cool. Right. This might be a problem. There we go. Duck jumping. That almost worked. That almost worked. Yeah, banks. They're a pain. Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was one of my, childhood movies. But, at some point in time, because we'd recorded it off of live TV, complete with, 80s commercials, at some point in time, someone overwrote the end of it with a football game. So, pretty soon after Veruca's song, it cut out to some football game. But to be fair, you know what? You've seen all the good parts of the movie by then, honestly. The Mike TV bit is weird. The Wonka wash thing, or the Wonka car, dang it, I'm too late, was weird. Yeah, it was interesting. I'm kind of surprised that I got killed there, but I don't exactly know what happened, and I've done it once, I can do it again. I mean, really, you want the good part of that movie, just skip to the part where they actually, or watch the beginning. For some of the news reports and Charlie finding the thing, and then skip over the Charlie song, and, go from there. Okay, there we go. I'm still not confident in my jump for this. That's the jump. That's not that hard. And this is a lot easier if you take it in 2 steps. Which still might be a bad idea. There we go. Much better. No more thwimps. That was the dumbest way I could have died there. I had a recorded version that was complete, except they cut out the chicken getting beheaded. Oh, yeah. That was such a weird thing to throw into that movie, too. The boat scene is uncharacteristic of the rest. Actually, the rest of it's also, you know, weird as hell. But yeah, that in particular was weird. Someone said, you know what? We'll get some stock footage. We'll use that. Why not? Yeah, Gene Wilder was perfect for that role. He was very good in an unpredictable way. Oh, I could have saved that. My understanding is that for the scene where his character is actually introduced, the bit where he falls down and does a, you know, he comes out with a cane and slowly and painfully walks down, and then does a somersault, was something Gene Wilder wanted to do as opposed to the original script or director or anything like that. It's just, you'll never be able to tell if he's telling the truth after that. That giant contract. It was huge. A lot of silly touches in that movie. But yeah, recording movies off of TV was a thing for a while. I'm kind of glad it's no longer as much of a thing as it was. It's so much easier now that there's sort of on-demand services and whatnot if you actually want to watch something. There we go. Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in myself for that one. Jumping long before I can see the floor. Oh, I fucked this up. No! I'm finding new and interesting ways to fail. Yeah, but at least it's Tails. Other things I'm thankful that have gone by the wayside. Recording music off the radio. That was always fun. Gotta wait until you hear the song you want to record on the radio and then hit the record button just as it starts. You gotta get really good at identifying your songs. What I wouldn't give for LR Restart. Actually, a cute way to handle that would be to make it have 2 exits. Where the first one's a complete freebie. And then the other one's the one that matters. And then you could start select your way out of having to wait there. Wonder if that's supported by the VLDC rule set. Because I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to have 1 exit, but having 1 exit is kind of superfluous just to make it so you don't have to wait to die. Seems kind of like a nice feature if you ask me. Because after all, there was at least 1 level that had a required pre-level you had to beat. And that one didn't get disqualified, because otherwise it would have broken some stuff. We need to clear the Yoshi message. Boing. You can always set the levels beaten in Lunar Magic. Really? you could preemptively beat the levels in Lunar Magic. Oh. Really should spend some more time in that program. There's so much I could learn from it. I was definitely thinking about doing something for KLDC, but I don't know if I'm going to find myself with the time to do so. Especially given that my idea is very shitposty. And it's going to rely pretty heavily on writing. Stand there. I guess really what I'd need is a crash course in the extended message box stuff. But we'd see. I'd see later. Kaizo levels based on the Leap module. Oh, just thinking about it makes my hands hurt. Alright. Much as I hate to do this mid-level, I'm gonna get up and use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, I kind of wonder what that would look like, a Kaizo level based upon some chat hacks, ASMs that people have submitted. Leap especially. Well, one of the leaps that doesn't launch you through walls and kill you would probably be kind of interesting. I do feel if I ever, like, sat down and decided I'm going to make a ROM Hack Races level, that it would involve several random chat hacks modules, because that's just what I have to do. This I probably should have updated the title to include, because it does look, based upon polling, that we'll be doing chat hacks on Monday, which is, I believe, a day of the week I've never done it. So... No, wait, I did it on Monday a while ago, but it was a holiday Monday. This is not going to be a holiday Monday. It's an un-holiday Monday. That is a lot of text, and I'll read that next death. It's not the kind of level that actually lets you read chat. At least not at the level I play. I'm certain that including PHR and CHR would violate some set of rules, honestly. At least I can read short ones. Alright, well, gotta wait for Tails to run into a wall. But to me, in retrospect, physically punishing children was the norm. It shows in the movie how they treat naughty children. The Oompa Loompa are clearly a metaphor for racism. Carol seemed like the character who wasn't white aside from the Oompa Loompas, so I had to watch classes without a critical lens. Well, I mean, part of it is that it took place in London, like the UK, at a time when there wasn't much diversity to begin with. Like, it was just a pretty white place back then. But the Oompa Loompas, yeah. The way I generally view Willy Wonka is through the lens of it being a morality play, where there are clearly defined rules that you need to obey, otherwise horrible things happen to you. Which were a big deal back in, like, the Middle Ages. They really liked those. I'm pretty sure it's Middle Ages, I forget when that actually was a thing. And it's pretty straightforward. Wonka says, don't do that. Kid does that. Kid suffers horrible consequence. Oh, I should have just gone for it. That's true, the UK did have Indians for a long time. But I wonder how common they would have been around where Charlie was, given that it was sort of a blue-collar area. But I have no notion of distribution of ethnicities in the UK around that time. Which Willy Wonka? The old one. We're talking about the one that has Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka as opposed to Johnny Depp. The Johnny Depp one is weird. I found unpleasantly weird, honestly. But an awful lot of, like, the awfulness of the book, awfulness of the movie comes directly from the book. There's even a bunch of weirder stuff in there, like Willy Wonka makes a chocolate palace for someone in the Middle East, you know, as a commission, and, you know, it melts, and apparently this guy in the Middle East is not aware chocolate melts. Like, that's dumb. Very much a product of its time. Duck. Dang it! He was from a very impoverished area. That is true. Nothing says impoverished like having 4 grandparents share the same bed. Though, of course, there's the whole Grandpa Joe totally can walk, why is he staying in bed thing. That's another one of those unfortunate questions that the movie asks. That we only ask later in life because, you know, if he could work and they're so destitute, maybe he should have. But this one, I believe, was made in the 70s? I want to say it was the 70s. It's a fairly old, well, not that old of a movie. But in terms of, like, broadcast distribution, you get a lot more 80s movies than 70s movies and so on. But yeah, my understanding for the Oompa Loompas was it was sort of a riff off of, like, pygmy tribes. It's not good. It's just not good. It's one of those things that was probably okay, a lot more acceptable back when people knew a whole lot less about the world and didn't have nearly as much information at their fingertips. Just like reading, like, old not DuckTales, actually, Scrooge McDuck stuff can at times be a bit awkward just because it's not... It really wants to be, like, pulp novel-y, adventure in foreign landy, and it just doesn't come across very well. So even the Scottish didn't really turn out that well in those books, and he's from Scotland after all. Early. Oh, man. But I've never actually read the original books outside of giving them a quick skim for the Willy Wonka stuff, so I don't know too much about it. The only other, like, fairly straightforward morality play books I recall from childhood are Miss Pigglewiggle. There was this maid? What do you even call her? Witch, possibly? Would solve children's problems in ironic ways that would eventually work, but still seemed kind of painful at the time. The one I remember quite distinctly was this kid who kept taking smaller bites, and apparently that annoyed. His slowness in eating was a big problem. Why exactly it's a problem? Not exactly certain now, but apparently that was a problem enough for it to be in the book, and so gave him smaller and smaller portions until he eventually became emaciated and couldn't do anything. Hooray! Problem solved. He realized that eating healthily was important. Seems very cruel in retrospect. Okay, remember, there's another wave of them that are going to come at me right before this. There we go. I like the frozen feather. Pleasant. There we go. You lost. I mean win. Special thank yous. Me. I made this. Alright. Well, that was a fun level. Very unique in its styling. How long did that take me?